I'm Ron White, two-time USA Memory Champion and entrepreneur, and today I want to talk with you about you and your specific situation. Because if you're trying to generate more success for yourself and boost your mental performance to help you get there, then this masterclass is for you. At the risk of sounding crazy, this masterclass is like buying an upgrade for your brain. The thing is, I've been able to develop my mental abilities to a freakish extent, and because of that, I've been featured on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, Good Morning America, the TV show Superhumans, National Geographic's Brain Games, and I've taught my system to thousands of others. The thing I've noticed is they all want to have a sharp mind, an incredible memory, now and for years to come, and to be able to use their mind to find success in every aspect of their lives. At the end of the day, you're either getting smarter every day or you're slowing down and falling behind. Your career is either progressing or staying stagnant. And this is important. Your energy and enthusiasm is either all in or you're having the very lifeblood sucked out of you. I've been on both sides, and I know which side I'd rather be on. And I bet you do as well. So here's the thing. There's nothing like focusing on your brain to bring more of the results you want personally and professionally. You can focus your lifestyle, the mental strategies you can use, or the supplements you can take. And I say this from experience. I've been teaching people simple ways to boost their mental performance since 1991. And of course, a lot has changed since then. But since I started, I have taught millions of people ways to do this. And many of them are just like you. They want to build a better mind. And the people I've taught have been able to use what they've learned in almost every aspect of their lives. So here's what I want you to do. As we go through this class, I want you to focus on how this applies to your specific situation, because you're in the perfect spot to leverage these strategies. I'll be teaching you mental performance in a 360-degree approach that spans all aspects of your daily life. The 360 approach means we broke down all the aspects that influence mental performance and found ways to improve them to get your brain humming. This includes lifestyle hacks to improve focus, attention, and memory, while supporting your brain long term. Next is mental strategies to use for better memory and focus, so you can crush your goals. And last, the supplements to take, along with the science behind them, to help you power through the day and boost your memory over time. Thousands of people are already transforming their lives. So let's get started. We're gonna roll right into the masterclass. So get ready to take lots of notes. In a minute, I'll be teaching you the core to the Neural Method 360 formula. These tools and strategies have changed thousands of lives, and many of those people are just like you and I. I think you're going to love it. Let's start with some stats about IQ or intelligence. Did you know the average person's IQ is around 100 and starts to decline as early as 20 years of age? This is startling data because it happens so early, but also because intelligence is the highest leveraged thing we have. This is because intelligence has the greatest capacity to transform our lives for the better when compared to any other aspect of our makeup. Cognitively speaking, we've all experienced days when we subjectively felt switched on or in the zone and we were unstoppable. And also days when we felt off and we just got less done. By the end of this masterclass, I want you to be able to do three things. Number one, you'll learn how to tweak your lifestyle with some brain-boosting lifestyle hacks to perform at your best. Number two, you'll come away with new mental strategies, including how to remember incredible amounts of information. And number three, you will know the best supplements and the science behind them that will get your brain in the optimal state. Let's dig in. Research has shown that for every IQ point, there is a direct correlation to income. If you increase by 1 point, your income will be an average of 2.1% increase for men and 3.6% increase for women. That means only a 10-point boost is roughly correlated with up to 36% higher salary. Other things like personality, money, and attractiveness are great, but intelligence is the master trait that enables all of these to be used for achieving your goals. Intelligence is a super high leverage resource that can and should be developed and enhanced. How you apply your intelligence to your typical day determines to a large extent the quality of your life. The good news is that there are several research-backed tactics that you can use to enhance your mind. These performance inhibitors and performance enhancers are exactly what I'm going to teach you in this masterclass. Today's all about lifestyle hacks for higher intelligence, and I'll start with an easy one: exercise. It turns out that regular long walks are really all you need to enhance your cognition. Exercise has been shown to improve various cognitive capacities. The size of the effect tends to depend on the type and intensity of the exercise. Did you know that as you age, your hippocampus actually shrinks? The hippocampus is responsible for memory, and one of the only proven ways to reverse the shrinkage of your hippocampus is exercise. Long-term exercise also improves cognition. This may be through a combination of increased blood supply to the brain and the release of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factors. Exercise, even in small amounts, benefits both physical and psychological well-being. The largest ever smartphone-based study examining the relationship between physical activity and happiness also found that even minimal levels of activity can have a positive effect on happiness. For the sake of brevity, because we have a lot to cover today, if you only take one thing from this masterclass, remember this aspect of lifestyle. Exercise has effects on weight loss, but these effects also pale in comparison to the dramatic positive benefits that exercise has for your brain function. These effects are so dramatic that if it were a drug to treat depression or enhance cognition, it would be considered a miracle drug and would probably cost thousands of dollars. An easy way to make this work for you is to take your meetings or phone calls while walking, whether it's around the block, around the house, or around the garden. Move your legs for a better brain. There have been studies that have shown that the very act of walking and the pressure on the soles of your feet sends up shock waves through your cardiovascular system that gently perfuses your blood into your brain, which helps your brain function better, and a better functioning brain means a smarter and happier you. Now let's talk about another important part of the lifestyle and how it affects your brain: your diet strategy. And this one is huge. This strategy is something I use every day. It's called intermittent fasting, and it's incredibly powerful when combined with the walking that we just talked about a minute ago. Intermittent fasting is a powerful method to enhance cognitive function and health. So what is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting is simply reducing the frequency of meals. It can take many forms, and a fast can last from hours to days to even weeks. In fact, fasting has very similar effects to exercise on increasing brain-derived neurotrophic factor and creating more connections between neurons. What intermittent fasting does is it allows your body to use up stored carbohydrates in the form of glycogen. Once these stores of glycogen are used up, the body begins to use fat as fuel. The byproduct of this fat metabolism is ketones. Ketones, like beta-hydroxybutyrate, or BHB for short, have been shown to have positive effects on cognition and mood. More on this later. Fasting has also been shown to have dramatic effects on something called autophagy. Autophagy is when the body uses faulty cells as fuel. These senescent cells, or cells that are no longer replicating or performing their original function properly, are eaten by the body and replaced with fresh, healthy cells. Fasting upregulates this process dramatically. This means that you'll have a larger proportion of younger, healthier cells the more often that you use fasting in your lifestyle. Now, if this weren't enough, the really interesting part about fasting is the dramatic effects it has on brain function. Like exercise, fasting upregulates BDNF. This growth factor is what allows the brain to produce new brain cells or neurons. When the brain is able to produce new brain cells or neurons, this results in greater neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is good for us because it allows our brain to adapt to its environment, to learn better, and to remain healthier for longer. Fasting is like miracle grow for the brain. When combined with walking, this causes healthy oxygenated blood to perfuse or flow into the brain, and for the brain to have a neurological environment conducive to very healthy growth. And a healthy brain is a happy brain, and that's what we're going for here. So let's make this practical. How can you make this work for you? Fasting is actually quite simple. It means you're not eating, no calories whatsoever. Typically, for my own intermittent fasting, I follow a flexible protocol where I fast for 16 hours a day and I eat within an 8-hour window. Now, 16 hours might sound like a long time, but if you do it right, you're actually sleeping for 8 of those hours. Here's how our typical day looks. I wake up early in the morning, I go for a walk, and I get in my daily routine, which involves skipping breakfast. I push my lunch back to around 3 p.m. where I have my first meal. Leading up to this, I have soda water, coffee, or tea only. My lunch consists of a healthy meal with lots of vegetables, and then I may have a snack in the afternoon before I have my dinner, around 7 p.m. This 7 p.m. dinner is large and satisfying. Then I try to get to bed before midnight to get my 6 to 8 hours of sleep in. So from dinner to my first meal the next day is about 11 to 16 hours. This process couldn't be easier, and it gives me an enormous amount of focus and concentration that I can use to accomplish my goals for the day. You see, when you're in a fasted state, your body produces neurotransmitters that are associated with focus and memory. And with the right supplements, you can really capitalize on this state to have extremely productive days. A really great benefit of creating this neurological environment that is so beneficial is that it also tends to reduce your body fat percentage because you're using up those fat stores during these periods of fasting. That body fat is stored to be used, and if it's not used, it will continue to accumulate. Humans are not designed to be constantly consuming food. We need periods where we're not consuming food in order to be healthy. The average American eats 8 to 10 times per day when snacks are included. Generally, some type of calories are being consumed for the entire day. This sets up for poor brain function and disease. It takes about 10 to 12 hours of fasting to deplete the glycogen stores that are stored in your liver before we can begin burning body fat. So if you eat 3 meals a day, you never deplete the glycogen stores in your liver. Although, if you exercise, you can burn fat to some extent. So how does fasting bolster brain power? Fasting is a challenge for your brain. Scientists call this hormetic stress. It means a healthy stress that results in a stronger system. Another example of hormesis is lifting weights or training for a marathon. It's a stress that makes the organism stronger. Your brain responds to the challenge of not having food by activating stress response pathways that make it stronger and more interconnected. If you think about this in evolutionary terms, when fuel became scarce, our body would respond by activating our brain to help find food. These regular periods of fasting stimulate this type of challenge for the brain and actually make it stronger, smarter, and happier, especially over time. When Steve Jobs said, "Stay hungry, stay foolish," I interpret this as stay hungry and you'll be more energetic and happier. Fasting is the way. When you're hungry and you need to find food, your body has evolved to keep your brain active. We didn't evolve because our brain shut down when we were hungry. We evolved because our system's response to hunger is to fuel your brain to work smarter. In effect, that's what the research shows. Neural circuits are more active in a fasted state. It's an easy way to activate your brain. And if you haven't tried it, you will find yourself being more productive and less distracted in your fasted state. Now let's talk about ketones. We all have fat stored in various places in our body. Why? Because we have evolved to store excess fuel to power us through hunger. Once you use up the glycogen from food, your body looks to your fat cells and goes to work burning them, which produces ketones, or ketone bodies. Ketone bodies are very good for your brain. Romans were the ones who actually discovered ketones. People with epileptic seizures during the Roman times were actually thought to be possessed by demons. They found that if they put these people in rooms and they didn't feed them, that these demons would go away. What was actually happening is that the level of ketones in their brain was going up, which turns out to be a highly effective treatment for severe epilepsy. Because fasting increases BDNF levels in the brain, it also increases the number of mitochondria in the neurons. If you recall from high school biology, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It drives and regulates metabolism of fuel in the cell by having greater mitochondrial density. It allows those brain cells or neurons to do more work. This helps the neurons connect with each other faster and more effectively, which enhances cognitive ability, specifically learning and memory. This stuff is incredible, guys. I'm not going to go into much greater detail on that, but what I will say is that it's very similar to when you're exercising your muscles and the number of mitochondria in your muscles goes up in response to that minor stress. Intermittent fasting also enhances the ability of your nerve cells to repair damaged DNA. In short, it's what your brain needs to perform. This is one of my best lifestyle changes I have made both for my overall health and my brain. It's allowed me to lose 35 pounds and get my brain in the best shape of my life to win the USA Memory Championships. I also set the United States record for the fastest to memorize a deck of cards. I did it in 1 minute and 27 seconds. Now let's talk about progression with intermittent fasting. Another way to incorporate intermittent fasting in your life is to choose 1 day per week to fast for the entire day. This means that after you stop eating, then you fast the entire next day and go to bed in a fasted state. When you wake up, you eat a healthy breakfast, and then you have just completed a 36-hour fast. This is a great tool to refresh the cells in your body and brain. The best part about it, it is remarkably simple to do. You take it with you wherever you go. It doesn't require any equipment. It doesn't cost you any money. In fact, it saves you money because you're not buying food. Another great benefit is how much time fasting saves you. You might be asking, isn't breakfast the most important meal of the day? Well, let's take a step back and think about the standard American diet for a second. Why do most people eat 3 meals a day plus snacks? In short, it's culture and convention. On top of this, the food industry doesn't make any money if you skip breakfast, and there are large industries creating unnecessary hunger for Frosted Flakes and $5 footlongs. If you eat less and you eat less often, they make less money, but you will be more healthy, and the results you get are to be a more focused state, and you will be better. People ask me all the time, how can you find time in the day to achieve more? How can I start a side business that will enable me to quit my day job? If you want more time and energy, fasting is the ultimate lifestyle hack for you. It's the perfect recipe for getting things done. Dr. Walter Longo has done extensive research on extended fast and autophagy. What his research shows is that 5-day fasts are capable of regenerating your entire immune system. They reduce inflammation dramatically and ensure a healthy neurological environment in your brain. There are a number of ways that these fasts can be made easier and give you enormous amounts of energy. Unfortunately, I don't have time to cover all these right now, but understand that fasting is a core part of an overall lifestyle structure that includes some really powerful life hacks. And we talk about this much more in the Neural Method 360 program in terms of how we integrate these tools to achieve the maximum benefit. We sum this up in our Neural Method routine that will start you out on day 1 of our program. Now, maybe you're thinking, I love food too much, or you were taught that you had to eat 6 times a day to keep your metabolism high. Well, that's not true. And frankly, it's depriving you of energy. Your body is made to be resilient. Way before advertisements taught us how the food they sell is important to eat all day, every day. We also drastically overestimate how much we'll need to eat every day. Fasting will help you reduce the fat cells that have built up in your body over time. And while you're burning those, you'll feel extra focused. Now, I love food as much as you do, but I appreciate it now more that I've put some structure to my eating habits that have given me great results that help keep me healthy. You are gonna love the next video I have for you. In the next video, we focused on the second strategy of the Neuro Method 360 mental strategies. You've seen one of my favorites in my previous videos, the Memory Palace. In Neuro Method 360, we have even more mental strategies. And in video 2, I'm gonna teach you some of them, and you'll learn how to apply them in your daily life. Do me a favor, leave me a comment and let me know the challenges you are facing and why a better functioning brain is important to you. What would a better functioning brain allow you to do? Please scroll down and leave a comment below this video. If you got value from this video, I would love it if you hit that like button and also share it with a friend. Many people were skeptical that I could make these changes, even me. If you take nothing else from this video, please understand this. Your brain is the highest leverage tissue in your body. There is no other organ as capable of transforming your life for the better than your brain. These changes you make now will benefit you for decades to come. The time to start is now. When you combine the right formula with a little discipline, there's no telling how far you can go. You're going to build an amazing life. You're going to achieve your goals. You're going to make a positive impact on the world. Scroll down and leave a comment for me, and I'll see you on the next video.